Fabrizio Romano yang kita semua tumpang glamour, you know. We're just trying to be like him in life lah. So we're going to talk about his forte here. The Malaysian transfer window started on December 1st. There have been a lot of big signings. So Avi, I'm just going to pass it to you. I mean, what are your highlights of the transfer window so far in Malaysia?
There are lots of it actually. First up, let us talk about Johor Darul Takzim lah. So they have made one marquee signing in the name of Fernando Farrestieri. He played for clubs like Sheffield Wednesday, Watford. Remember the Watford game where they played in the playoffs against Leicester? The last minute goal?
That game, my God.
He was instrumental in getting that goal.
Right.
So he was popular there as well. And then his last club was Udinese, Syria club. So pretty decent signing. Someone who the coach and also the crown prince has said that would be able to help Bergson to get more goals, like a partner sort of thing. And then to further improve competition among the foreign players, they've also signed two Filipino internationals and a Malian Spanish winger, Mamadou Sidibe and Musa Sidibe, Khalid Amaga from Philippines, and also Bienvenido Maranon. He's a naturalized Philippine striker to give more competition to the squad. So they have made signings that they believe would further elevate the team's level of play. That is the understanding behind the signings that they have made. One team, and then the other team that really caught my interest was Selangor, because they signed two Jordanian internationals. I have watched Baha and Yazan train. They are quality. They look very good. So I hope that form, that experience, that international experience will be brought to the Malaysian Super League and help elevate Selangor to do better. Because last season they finished fifth. So this season, Selangor fans, the expectations are very high. So obviously they want things to be better. So I am very sure the club would be targeting top 3 finish lah. So like Baha Abdul Rahman, Yazan Al Arab, and also the two Brazilians that they have signed, Helison Cayon and Yuri Henrique, are good players. And Helison, people have questioned his record in Thailand, but when I was watching him train, he looked quite a decent player. But sometimes what you see in training may not happen on the field. But I have the belief that it can happen in Selangor because the coach is very sound. His instructions are very clear, and the players that he signed fit his system of play. So we'll see how that goes for Selangor. What else? Malacca, they announced their signings a little late, but they've made some pretty interesting buys. One example is Ifedayo Olusegun. Last season, Super League top scorer, now playing for Malacca. And to get more goals, he's got 3 players going to help him out. Sonny Lotte, Adriano Nazizo, and also Emmanuel Oti. And I was told that Malaysian international Nur Sharul Idlan Talaha could be joining them. So he could play in first 11 or he could be a super sub. Like this now, Logan and I had an earlier conversation. We might even see the yo-yo combination, Ifedayo and Madyo.
I thought that was one of the worst jokes I've ever made, but since he's brought that up,
sorry, I had to say.
but you see, no, hold on, because the thing is that you have announced an exclusive and you didn't give me the prompt, so I didn't put that thingy at the bottom. That's an exclusive. That is the first exclusive of the show. So that Matyo may be joining Malacca.
And then. Somebody actually just said Matthew has joined Laco already, so I guess the club is already confirmed it.
There you go.
So looks like it's confirmed lah. And then
is it okay if I put the chat overlay?
Yeah,
I
sure.
feel that we are not getting any. We're not talking to the people enough lah. Our apologies on that. Let me just put Mr. Azri up. So it's confirmed. He has joined Malacca. That's fantastic news. Why not?
That's really good news for him lah. Being able to, he's able to get a club lah. He's 36, but he still believes that he can give his all. So it's good that he can play in the Super League platform again lah after a while. And then what else? Benny, you have any other teams that you want me to mention?
No, bro. Perak maybe.
yes. I think
Perak late. Let me just focus on Super League first. Sadly, Pereira is in the Premier League.
Okay, let Avi gather his thoughts. But Benny, what's your summation of the transfer league? So I mean the transfer window so far for the Super League.
For me, bro, as usual, I think JT has dominated the transfer window.
Mm.
They have had more strength to their team. I mean, we know they have a quality players and everything, but they keep on signing in every season, signing new players in every season. So I think there's not much different in this transfer window as well. They have made a lot of good signings, and based on the signings, I think JDT has the most best deal for this transfer window.
So
To
they're the
add
team
to
to beat.
Benny's point, I mean, JDT are obviously the favourites to go for their ninth Super League title. But based on what I've seen so far, the signings teams have made, I think these teams will be able to give them a tight competition. Uh, Terengganu, for example, they have kept the core local players. And
Yeah,
one of them is Faisal Ali. Remember, you watched the highlights, he did the Siu
yeah, yeah.
celebration.
Ah, yes,
He's
yes.
still there. He's still there. And the foreign signings that they've made, Manuel Ott, who played for Malacca last season, he was sensational. I thought he was brilliant in midfield. He's going to play for Terengganu. Kepa Sherman, he every season regularly scores goals for fun out of Terengganu. Cheche Kipre, Benny knows him very well. Amazing striker. Even though he's going to turn 35 this year, but I still have the belief that he'll be able to give his all, score goals, create chances. He's that kind of a player. And also, they've signed a Senegalese defender who is 1.93 meters tall, Pape Diakite, if I'm not mistaken. So they have also added players that could help them in the Super League next season. And also, they brought in Adib Zainuddin, former Harimau Muda captain. So, they've added depth. Instead of just chopping and changing, they've added depth. Kedah, on the other hand, it's been an interesting transfer season for them because they lost Rizal Ghazali, Badul Bakhtiar to Logan's State Sabah.
We'll get to that. We'll get to that.
We'll get to that, don't worry. So, but they have signed players that Coach Ideal told me these players are team players. They will, you know, give certain sort of stability and solidity in every position. So you don't have flamboyance, but you have that efficiency. So he's looking for that element. So when he told me that, I was very impressed because there were some questions, why they signed these players and all that. But when he gave that explanation, I was like, okay, this coach knows what he wants to do. So they have signed South Korean centre back Jang Sok Woon. They have signed Honduran international Mark Valles, who can play as a defender or a defensive midfielder. And this player has played against top European players. He has played against Mbappe, the English national team. So he has, high level experience. And not to forget Dechi Marcel Anguesan. He played for Terengganu last season. He played for Terengganu 1 and Terengganu 2. He is the N'Golo Kante of Malaysia.
That's a big shout. Wow.
Yes, he works his socks off. Technically very good. He's not just doing the dirty work, but his passing is also immaculate. So I'm looking forward to see him play for a top side in the Super League for in a regular manner. And then who else they signed? And then they signed Ronald Nga and Dennis Bustining. Dennis Bustining, many questioned that he didn't play well for UiTM and so on, but so far I watched the friendlies. His stats are looking good. And Ronald Nga is signed because Kedah is going to play in the AFC Cup.
Mm.
So he has experience playing the AFC Cup and he was the Jordanian League top scorer. So they have quality. Even though they lost some of their core players, but they still have the quality to fight against these top teams. Who else I've missed out? What are the teams? Hmm.
But before that, I mean, if you don't
Hmm.
mind,
Hmm.
Mr. Azri has asked a question. Do you
Hmm.
think Kedah will go far in the AFC Cup?
I think they can. I think they can because Coach Ideal is an experienced coach. He has brought Home United, now known as Lion City Sailors, to the final of the ASEAN leg. So he knows what needs to be done, and I have a feeling that they could do well. They look, and not to forget Shafiq Ahmad. I think he's going to get regular minutes with them, even though he's on loan. But I think he's going to be a very important player for Kedah. Could be the key man with goals, assists, work rate, and everything. So I'm looking forward to that as well. That one player can elevate any team in Malaysia, any team. Shafiq Ahmad. When last year he didn't get regular playing time with JDT, but when he played for the national team, my God, Even Benny would agree with me.
Yeah.
He's everywhere. Attacking, he is only 1.74 meters, but his heading is so good. His work rate is amazing. He pushes his teammates with his, movement and everything. So I think this season could be Shafiq Ahmad's season
Mm.
also.
I'm before we, if you don't mind, before we get to my team, as you so nicely put it, my team. We have a very simple question just from Subhash,
Mm.
who just shouted Pera. So okay, it's time for Pera. Any news on what the Silver State is going to do in the next few
They are looking to
weeks?
sign several experienced players.
Mm.
So some of the names that have been mentioned are Indra Putra Mayudin. He played for KL last season and he's 41 years old this year.
Okay.
Experienced winger, but still has it. And also one Zach, one Aikal, former Harimumuda player and also played for the national team. He can play left and right. Indra can play striker left and right also. So these two names are being linked to Pera and also Ahmad Shamim Yahya. But Pera cannot announce the names yet because they're trying to settle some of their areas that they had last year. So once that is settled, then the transfer ban will be lifted. Then they would be able to announce the play. So far, I've not received any updates on that yet.
Mm.
So maybe in a week or two, we will see the team announcing new players and so on. I know a lot of people have asked me why Pera has been very quiet. It's because they have to go through these administrative issues
Mm.
and all that. I mean, there's been lots of talks about the logo and so on. But I mean, it's a first step, lah. I mean, the management has their ideas. Let's see how they project them, how the team goes, and all that. For now, I'm not going to be negative. I just want to see how they do in the next 6 to 7 months.
All right. So yeah, I think I've teased it enough. Okay. My biases aside, lah. My obvious
Mm-hmm.
biases aside.
Mm-hmm.
As a complete newcomer, noob coming into following the MSL. Can we say the MSL? I'm sorry. Again, I'm very scared of saying the wrong thing.
Malaysia Super League G.
Oh, fine,
Yeah.
fine. Okay, the Super
Just say
League. All right.
Super League G.
Okay, Super League. All right.
Yeah.
Easy.
Okay, sorry. So yeah, as someone who's really coming in like a newcomer to the Super League, right? Sabah signings are kind of like interesting to me
Okay.
because they've signed a lot of big names that kind of transcend the hardcore fans and the casual, even like casual fans like me know a lot of the names that they've signed. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
like obviously Kyle Fami, you got Gary Steven Robert, you've got I mean Gary Steven Robert, who is exactly who has been compared many times to Benny. Looks alone. Doesn't seem okay. Benny seems to be either frozen or very unhappy with that. Okay, never mind.
He just don't want. He just doesn't want to show any kind of emotions or whatsoever.
Yeah,
But
but
he finally said something.
yeah. Okay, yeah.
I have no comments on this.
Thanks, Mr. Azri. I'm still learning. Thank you, sir. Okay. No, but they've also got Badrul Bakhtia, and I mean, these are like seriously talented players. Where do you think the ceiling is for the Sabah side?
Okay, if you ask me, first season they have made a lot of, not to say changes, but they've brought in a lot of experienced players and so on. I think top six would be good for them.
Hmm.
Top six is a realistic target with the teams that they've had. So, like you mentioned, the names like Badrul Bakhtia, Karul Fahmi Chema, Rizal Ghazali, Irfan Fazail, and a few other players. These are players that have worked with Kim Sui before in the SEA Games and also in the qualifiers and all that. Fun fact, these players actually told Kim Sui when he was coaching Harimau Muda that if you take over a club, I want to play for you. So when he took over Sabah, obviously he would have thought of these names immediately. Like, they want to play for me and so on. And he called them and he joined them. Like, for example, Rizal Ghazali and Badrul Bakhtia, I was shocked. I thought they were going to stay in Kedah for a long time. But they decided to move. When I asked, but why? Kim Sui. Simple answer. Kim Sui. That's it. So the Kim Sui factor is very strong in Sabah. And obviously expectations are very high, but I believe that they can finish top six. But the ones that have really impressed me in terms of signings are the foreigners. Jackson Souza, Neto Pessoa, these two players, they played in Brazilian Serie A and Serie B, top level leagues, really good clubs. And I've watched some of their videos, they look really impressive. And Kimchi knew what he wanted from them. He said that, I want this place to fit my style of play. And he got the place that he wanted. Another interesting player is Taiki Kadaiyama. He played in Kansai University and then he moved to Finland. Started his professional career in Finland. Played for 3 clubs there. His last club, Inter Turku, he played in the Europa League. So he has high level exposure. So for him to move from another nation, from a European nation to an Asian nation, I think it's a very bold step for him. And look, and he would have bought into Kim Sui's ideals and also the club's vision and mission. So I think Sabah will be the silent killers this season. Never know. I just hope that they will do well, and I sincerely hope that Coach Kim Sui will do well. Because he has been with Haramagoda for a long time, and I have a very good relationship with him. Really nice man. So yeah, it will be interesting to see how they fare, and I believe they can finish. Like I said, I don't know how many times I said this, top six lah.
Top 6. Okay.
Mm.
I mean, I'm glad to hear that. Another question that's just come in from Michael Juvan. I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. How far will KL City go? Top 3.
Top three is a huge ask actually. I believe they can finish top six as well, but depends on the signing that they're going to make lah. I was told that they today gave an indication that they're going to sign a new foreign striker. I was told that he's 28 years old. His first name is Kevin. He's 1.92 centimeters tall. He can also play as a winger. So I want to see who this guy is, and then we can decide, how the team can perform. But the good thing about KL is they've kept the core. They've kept the core of the squad, and I'm happy with the fact that the management has kept these players happy and motivated. So they would surely want to win at least a trophy this season or finish top six in the Super League. If they're able to do so, I would say still a successful season because KL is a side with a very small budget. But the passion for the game, their understanding for the city, and also the foreigners being able to gel with the local players, I think it is that recipe has been a success so far. And we saw how they performed in the Malaysia Cup last year. Many years JDT dominated the game, but when it comes to the moments where the key moments, they took their chance. So that should happen again this season. And Boyan Hodak is a very stable coach. So yeah, I mean they can finish top six. Top three would be really tough. But if they do so, amazing.
So okay, so it's Kevin. What else? What is his height again?
Kevin, 1.92 meters. He can play as a striker or a winger. And what else? I think that's it. 28 years old.
So okay, so my prediction is it's going to be Kevin De Bruyne. So I mean, I think that would be no.
Kevin De Bruyne is 31, sir.
Okay,
and he's now 1.92.
How would I know how tall is Kevin De Bruyne? Okay,
but if they get Kevin De Bruyne, my God, Malaysian League is something else. Forget about other leagues lah.
Exactly. Look, why not? He's won enough at Man City. It's another city. Can lah, makes sense. Okay, so that ridiculous